We need to get you another shirt. You need to have more than one.
I do. I have this one.
Oh, there's the other one.
Yeah, I have a few, and I have like 12 pairs of these, different colors and patterns.
And does everything match that you own? Because everything so far is clashy matchy.
Clashy matchy.
Yeah.
So it matches, but it clashes.
Yeah, but beautifully. Like there is definitely a palette you're going for there. I would say your high spring.
Really?
Yeah, that's the season.
I would say when I stepped off the bus the other day, a little boy looked up at me and said, "You look like a juggling man."
Oh, that's cool.
I know, I said, "Awesome," and I gave him a high five. I was so thrilled because I can juggle.
From the mouths of babes.
I know, right?
Go
Anyway,
and do some. Juggle.
not in this space because it's like empty cans of Coke there.
Welcome to the Blooming League of Original Podcasts.
G'day and welcome to an extra fabulous edition of Thrash and Treasure, the Torture Chamber musical comedy podcast where we shall open Pantera's box and unleash metal on an unsuspecting Broadway. And speaking of shallow, I'm Aaron. And I'm flying solo this week. So, anyways, guess what? What? We have our very first Oscar-winning legendary Aussie diva strutting onto the bus today. But even if Janomi know his work better. So let's rip open the fabric of space and time to unstitch this unrushable individual who once sat in the GP office on E Street where he was prescribed a sewing machine and soon got hooked on dancing as a drag queen's earring before hearing the needle drop and pinning his name tag to high society and surging ahead as a VIP of costume design, and that ultimate tag inspired this Mighty Morphin placket arranger to tailor magnificent frocks and magical tails jackets for Miss Congeniality Kathy and Mo the Enchanted Pig. So as this dance boss rides the pink bus on the Simeon line and heads into the sunset of a brave new world for a night of dancing with the stars under the Mojave moon, at which we howl a huge local g'day and hit 'em with the hey as Priscilla careens across the desert sands with the velocity of Gary on a mental boat trip that left him love-wrecked with a seriously Red Riding Hood from sunburn. But even if today you die, I will survive. As long as I have never been kissed, I'll flock like a little canary bird back to good Stewie's sexy birthday party and ask Dove l'amour, or at least some aspects of love. Oh. But I love that I get to welcome to the torture chamber a diamond in the ruffles and multi-accoladed costume designer whose diviner talents have swished across stages from Sydney across the seven seas to West End Broadway and beyond, because even if diamonds are for Trevor, the sapphires are sweet charity to a funny girl Gypsy as she marries her dream lover, the boy from Oz, in a vivid white dress witnessed by the guys, dolls, Pirates of Penzance and Chekhov's Uncle Vanya. Yet, thanks to Siegfried and Roy joining them, there'll be 2 weddings, but only 1 bride. And if I could fit West Side Story into this little intro of horrors, I'm sure it would be a funny pun. So before I pop on my Levi's and I hop down the streets in my Mazda to pick up some West cigarettes, Pop-Tarts, Jell-O, and a Playboy for the articles, I'm tickled pink to crack open a Foster's in the Outback, Miss Steakhouse, with the fashionably handsome and devilishly fashionable BAFTA, Tony, Oscar, and AFI award-winning mask-singing Pope of Pie. So let's praise the heavens for Mr. Tim Chappel. Yay! Welcome to the torture chamber.
Oh my God.
How's it going?
I'm exhausted.
That was another cold read.
Do you know, I don't even have all of those references on one CV.
I know.
That is impressive.
Thank you.
Some I deliberately left off.
Good. We like to bring them up.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's on your Wikipedia.
No, that's a work in progress.
Yep.
Interesting that you brought up the cigarette commercial that I did while my father was dying of lung cancer.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
No. Well, the thing is that he was already dying, so I thought I may as well cash in and get some money out of it.
You... For our foreign listeners, this is the Aussie sense of humor. This is the sort of thing we do. We name pools after Harold Holt, who drowned.
That was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious me. I was sorry to bring up the sore spots.
Oh, no. It wasn't a sore spot at all. It was, I just thought it'd make an interesting anecdote.
Yeah, well, it was on your resume, and I did actually have to go to your agent to get your resume because, like you say, all of that is not on one thing. So
No.
I had to be sneaky about it and do that. Now, one thing that I had read, I can't remember when, but I might be wrong. Did you help out with Sydney 2000?
Well, culturally I did.
Culturally?
But physically I didn't.
Okay, that's all right then, that I'll move on. Just one thing that's very much a hot topic at the moment. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but is AI a worry in costume design?
No.
No?
No, it's just another tool like Photoshop.
Yeah.
AI told me to say that.
Oh, did they? All right.
Otherwise, I get the shock.
Well, I'm not allowed to argue with our guests if I disagree. Anyways, you are actually our first Oscar winner in over 100 guests in 4.5 years.
Really?
Yes. So congratulations.
You need to punch higher, mate.
I have been.
Well, you don't really get Oscars for musicals.
No,
There's not really the land that you live in isn't Oscar land.
no.
It's more the other one.
Yes. We've got a few GOT winners or an EGO, but
Mm.
we've never got an EGOT yet, like the full EGOT. So I'm trying. But this week, without sounding like a nostalgic weirdo, I actually rewatched the ceremony. And I do remember being, not ages, 10 years old watching that ceremony. That year, I was rooting for Priscilla because I saw that at the cinema. It was an Aussie film as well. And also The Lion King. And this week, I'm pinching myself because I'll be dropping this episode with yourself and also Tom Schumacher, who happened to produce The Lion King.
That's pretty huge. I think that's the biggest musical of all time, isn't it?
Yes. No, that's actually on the other show I produced, not in this one.
You're confusing me. Come on.
Because I do produce another show for Caroline Sheen.
What's the other show that you produce?
It's called Talk Musicals to Me. It's all about creatives and the musicals that inspired them to get into the industry and what kept them going and stuff like that, and what they love and what they don't love.
For me, it was Barbarella.
Oh,
I watched Barbarella from behind the couch
yeah,
when I was like 8 years old, 10 years old. I wasn't allowed to watch it because it was rude.
yeah.
And I snuck back out and hid behind the couch and watched it and went, that's cool.
Well, that's funny. I was, what, 9, 10 years old when I was taken to the movies to see Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Wow. That's really impressive. Who took you?
My mum. We used to go all the time. Like,
I'm glad it wasn't like a local priest or something. Oh,
oh God, no. She is Catholic, but no. But when you won that Oscar, how long was it between walking off the stage and getting that drink that you said you needed? Did you get one right away?
very no.
No?
I didn't get a drink.
Oh, bugger.
No drink, no. No one really understands the circus the Oscars is after you win.
Yep.
First, most hilarious thing is as you're walking off the stage holding your precious Oscar that you just won and staring at it, somebody rips it out of your hands
Yep.
because it's not yours.
It's not yours yet.
Because it hasn't got your name on it.
Yep.
It's just the stage one. It's just a prop. And you're like, oh,
Yep. That's why you got to get it etched, don't you, at the party?
yeah. They have a party etcher there that comes in and says, what do you want? I wanted to do a caricature on mine.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it.
No, you do actually get another one that is yours to go through the circus.
So they didn't give you a drink? Bloody hell.
No drink.
I guess it's the Golden Globes that they get alcohol, don't they?
I didn't even get a show bag. Everyone else got a show bag that had a swatch in it.
What?
I didn't get a show bag.
No swag. What? That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start campaigning.
If we're going to start doing campaigns, can we also do one for the Logies? Because I haven't got one of those because they don't have a category.
They don't have one, do they? Besides the actors, or once the AFIs, rest in peace.
Oh, yeah.
And the Helpmans, rest in peace.
No, the Helpmans are still around, aren't they? No, I think they are.
I haven't heard anything from them. I've been looking on their websites just to be curious and nothing.
Hey, Siri, are there still Helpmans?
I found this on the web where there's still helmets.
It says you don't have to wear a helmet.
But do wear a condom, kids. It is Pride Month. Anyways, I haven't seen anything since before COVID on the Helpmans at all.
All the other ones still going. Sydney Theatre Awards and Green Room Awards. That's all still going. The little ones.
Well, Logies, get your shit together because at least the Oscars are finally getting stuntmen.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I believe next year or the year after, or it might be like 2030 or something like that. Who knows?
They should do voice actors before that's a category that can't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, because you're kind of one of those, aren't you?
No, I'm more of a writer. This is
good.
This is just to make ends meet, really. Not that we're making money from it, but yeah.
That's why AI is not a threat, because AI can never really replace you because it doesn't live and it doesn't have feelings.
No.
It can only imitate them.
Yeah, I challenge AI to write one of those introductions. I tell you that.
Hey, Siri, did you hear that? Oh, what do you think?
I am part of the resistance. We're not scared of the machines. So how much smooshing did you have to do after the ceremony? Because obviously there would have been so much beforehand, but once you had that trophy, your name's out there in the papers and all that jazz, was there sort of much?
Well, no, I got the Oscar curse, which apparently is pretty common.
Yeah.
And that is that for like 6 months afterwards, I didn't work. I went and did a lot of meetings, but I was 25 and I'd made one film about drag queens and I'd sit in these like boardroom meetings. I remember I went for a meeting at Courage Under Fire,
Yeah.
which was Meg Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And here I'm in the boardroom at like Universal or something. And they said, Tim, why do you want to do this war film? And I was like, well, sequins come in khaki. And with that, I got shown the door, strangely enough. The funny thing was the night. So I'll give you a little anecdote. So after you win your Oscar and you go through the circus, they have the governor's ball, which is like a sit down dinner. And it's a ball, just a picture of ball in your head. And it's that.
Yep.
And I was late to the table. And as I was walking to the table, because each table only holds like 6 people, and it was Lizzie and her partner. My partner was with them. And I can't believe I've drawn a blank. I've forgotten the name. She won for Blue Sky. She was in King Kong's Hand.
Jessica Lange.
Yeah, Jessica Lange was sitting at our table, and I walked on over and I said, oh my God, there's barely going to be room for the food with all these Oscars. And she turned to her friend and she said, who are these people?
What a cow.
Well, I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. Goodness gracious me.
So we're sitting there, the 6 of us at this table, not speaking, Lizzie and I having a chuckle. And Sally Field starts walking over towards us. And Jessica's like, and Sally Field comes straight to us and goes, oh, so hoping you guys would win. Oh, hi, Jessica.
Wonderful.
It was cute.
Oh, wonderful. Didn't see that coming with Jessica Lange, to be honest.
It's rare, though, because people who are really successful are generally really nice and really easy to get to work with.
Yep.
They just know what they want. That's the only thing.
And they don't want the speaking up to, they just want you to be yourself. And
oh, God, yeah. Oh, you know that. There's nothing worse. And I always want to get a photo with them, but you can't ask.
yeah, that's it. Well, look, I get to record my Zoom, so there's that.
Oh, that's true.
So I can pretend.
Just ask AI. AI will do it for you.
No, I'm not putting this face on AI. God help us all. Anyways, let's move on. Have you had any experience with metal, heavy metal, glam metal, et al.?
When I first arrived in LA, I had never really listened to any of that kind of music, but one of my assistants was really into punk.
Yeah, wonderful.
And the punk scene in LA in the late 90s was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The energy and the sort of rawness of it was really exciting, and I loved it. I went to a bunch of punk concerts. I didn't wear my good shoes. Don't wear your good shoes to a punk concert.
No. I actually did once. I don't know why. I guess I must have been between shoes or something like that, but I had black leather shoes. I was at an Area 7, that Australian band. I was at one of their concerts and we were all skanking around in a circle and my shoe flew off. And I got it back at the end of the night and it was signed by the band.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was all right. But then my best friend had disappeared and I had no idea where she was. And I found her down the river making out with some guy. So that was great because we were like 15, 16 years old. So all the way across the other side of the city.
You lost your shoe and you lose friend.
Yes.
Loose shoe, loose friend.
That's it. And I was the one that the mum told you are the one in charge, or, you're responsible for everyone. Oh, great. Thank you. We're all going to get drunk at a gig in Canberra. Anyways, if you could pick your ultimate, most craziest, over-the-top rock star rider, what would you put in it?
God, the funny thing is that I'm not very demanding, but I know so many good ones. My favorite one was Mariah Carey turning up. She had in her rider that she turned up at a hotel and all of the staff had to be standing outside holding candles so that she walked up and in.
I am living.
Don't you love that?
Yes, I am living for it. It's so diva.
Why not?
I know,
I
exactly.
would hold a candle
Yep.
for her. You wouldn't even have to pay me.
That's it. I would totally have her on this show, though. I don't know after that if she would come on this show.
Well, I don't think that's embarrassing. I think that just shows her regalness.
I think it's wonderful. Yeah. I egg people on. Like sometimes it's just like, oh, I'll have water and fruit. I'm like, no, God, how about fruit cut up by a shirtless fireman? Something like that. Then we're talking, or puppies, or any sort of animal. Full stop.
I think one thing you said there is really key to what you do and what I do, and that I used to do Australia's Got Talent.
Yep.
And my job was to make them the most them they could be, if that makes any sense, and sort of get the essence of the most outrageous side of them. But I never tried to push them any direction. I just made them more them, which is what you do too. What's the more me gonna look like?
I don't know. When I edit out all your ums and ahs,
oh no,
I make you sound human, basically, because people relax on this show and they'll be and ah and they'll stutter and they'll cough and all that, and I cut all that out and make people sound very crisp and professional and human, basically.
Thank you.
No, it's the least I can do. It really is the least I can do. That and introductions.
Maybe you could do an track afterwards with just all the ums and ahs and farting and.
Yeah, I actually want to get everyone's laughter and put them in dolls, old dolls with a voice box, and have them on Halloween just sitting out in the front lawn. So when kids walk up, these dolls just have all these laughters.
That sounds scary. That sounds perfect for like a 11-year-old theater nerd kid.
Yes, tell me about it. But anyway, so this week I thought we would celebrate Pride with King Diamond's Them. So a shout out to all the non-binaries listening. So with J-Wags out, I did my pros and cons of the album, so feel free to chime in and tell me when I'm wrong. The first pro is it's very atmospheric and spooky. Speaking of creepy dolls on the lawn.
Mm.
But the first con is I'm vaguely traumatized from the first time we did King Diamond, which was like 100 episodes ago or more. The next pro is the first words are, look, the old bitch is back. But the con is he's not talking about me. But the pro is I still feel sane. The con is I'm wasting my time on dumb jokes. But the pro is after the short intro, this album doesn't waste time. But the con is with the falsetto. The pro is it's camp as tits. But the con is it's a lot. The pro is the drama, the sleaze and ghoulishness and shredding are there. But the con is the falsetto shreds my eardrums. The pro is the deeper, spookier voice complements it. The con is just not enough. The next pro, it's threatening, yet not so much, because con, it's threatening, but not so much. The pro is the ending. That was great. I love that. It's like, oh, I'm grandma, I'm alive, or am I? So 3 stars. This was a lot. This was a hell of a lot to listen to, but it wasn't threatening enough that I couldn't listen to it, but it wasn't too threatening enough like I loved it. But like it was just, it was very a lot. That's all I can say. It was a lot. So how did you go with this one?
It was really hard, but there were elements of it that were enjoyable. Hang on, let me think where that was. Yeah, no, I couldn't find it. No, I'm kidding. What I found interesting about King Diamond was his look. Did he predate Kiss?
Well, he's born 56.
Yeah.
So years active 74. So around the same time as Kiss.
Right. Because he's got a sort of not as intense a look as they do, but it's a little bit more sophisticated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They relied, of course, very heavily on their look, and his music seems to stick very faithfully to an aesthetic.
Yes, a lot. That's aesthetic is called a lot.
Yeah. Well, I started halfway through the album and there was the voice from Creep show. So I went back to the beginning and listened to it as a story.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a whole story about Missy or Melissa.
Yeah.
And I think ghosts that come back to haunt her or something. I couldn't quite grasp the story because that falsetto is so distracting.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite musicals is falsettos, but they don't sing falsetto all the way through it. So
has he ever done a musical?
I don't think he has, but I think all his albums are concept albums. So
Right.
they're all stories. They all tell a cohesive story, even if you can't exactly comprehend what it is.
His look has really gotten much more sophisticated over time. It's interesting. He wears a similar jacket a couple of times through his career, but as time goes on, it gets more tailored. Better shoulders, better arms, fits better. Everything looks more expensive as he gets older, and his makeup gets so much better.
Yeah.
And I wonder what his fans think of that, like when people get more sophisticated looking. I watched a documentary about the B-52s recently.
Oh, wonderful.
And they hit a point in their career where they were being pushed to make a more sophisticated product and sound. And they said no was the best thing they did. So I wonder if he's had that situation.
I played Mesopotamia for someone recently. I said, this is the worst song they've ever heard. I'm not friends with them anymore.
Mesopotamia is a great song.
It is. It's a fantastic song. I love the B-52s and I so badly want Kay Pearson on this show. I think she's one of the best female vocalists around.
I stayed in her apartment in New York once. She wasn't there.
Damn. I know she's got a whole bed and breakfast now or something.
An air bed and breakfast?
I'm not sure. It's something.
Probably is.
Or a motel or I don't know. There's a whole website for it. I won't plug it on this show because she's not a guest. So he's an actual Satanist apparently. Levian Satanism is his religion.
It actually really is. I wonder if it's like the witchy one.
I don't know.
Because the witchy one's quite positive, really. It's just about going back to nature and not wearing deodorant.
I have no idea myself. I was born a Catholic, went to Catholic school, became a Christian.
Well, that's very witchy.
Now I'm a gay man.
It all goes together.
It's all like he's very much an acquired taste. And when I first sort of invited you on and we were talking recently, and you said something about being so theatrical, I thought I could probably go with something like this because I think this won't make you run away and cancel the recording.
I'm just curious. So, how many of these shows have you done?
This will be the 137th episode.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When you're choosing your music, do you try and choose things that have parallels?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
What are the parallels here?
The musical, we're doing drag queens. So I thought King Diamond, and then you'll hear my segue to the ad breaks and it'll all make sense.
Not another set of of punny one-liners.
All the way through. That's what we're known for. There'll be a pun written on my grave, no doubt, one day.
What will it say?
Hopefully a long way in the future. There'll probably be video screens by then. Yeah, so what would you give this out of 5?
Out of 5. Well, it wasn't garbage. And I have to say that the guitar solos were so spectacular that they made my brain spin trying to picture the fingers doing the work. So on guitar solos and the fact that there's some kind of story, I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the highest score I've ever given a heavy metal album.
Wow. Look at this show, ladies and gentlemen. We are changing lives. Not at all.
You didn't ask how many other heavy metal albums I've given scores to.
None, obviously.
So many.
Yeah, none, obviously. But those hands you speak of on the guitar, that's what you call devil's hands.
Oh, is it? It was incredibly skilled.
I don't know if that's what it is. I'm just saying it.
Oh,
He's a Satanist, so it'd be devil's hands, surely.
oh my God, that phrase could become part of the lexicon, and you will have started here.
Yeah, awesome. No, I think it already is. Isn't idle hands is the devil's playground? That's the thing, isn't it?
Devil hand.
That's idle hands. Anyway, we're gonna move on. Where's my segue? Looks like the King Diamond has folded, so we're going to snap to an ad break and go fish for some gin.
Hello there, my name is Caroline Sheen, and I've just started an exciting new podcast called Talk Musicals to Me, where I'll be sitting down with some of the biggest names and industry players in musical theatre, including Olivier and Tony Award winners, West End and Broadway icons, and celebrated composers, as they discuss the musicals that have resonated most with them, both professionally and personally, sharing their most cherished musical memories. Join me on this journey through the fantastic musical theatre world and the people who inhabit it. And here is an exclusive sneak peek. He is my old boss from Mary Poppins. He's the man who gave The Lion King to the world. He's the chief creative officer of Disney Theatrical. He is Mr. Tom Schumacher. Tom, welcome back to London and welcome to Talk Musicals to Me.
Well, I'm tickled to be here, and I'm tickled to be here live, not on Zoom. We're pioneering this for you.
We are. This is a new thing for me.
So that means you had to get dressed for this call.
I did. I'm not in my pajamas.
That's good. Okay.
And I have proper shoes on, which is
Well,
always,
there we have it.
Thank you so much. So Tom doesn't have a huge amount of time because he's here with Hercules and they are literally rehearsing on the stage behind the doors I'm looking at. So there's a lot going on. So let's crack on. Tom, what was the first musical you ever met? How did you first meet to musical theatre?
My mother, who was born in 1928 and grew up in Napa, California. She was born in Napa, California. She, for whatever reason, loved musicals. She didn't go to a lot of musicals, but she loved the cast albums. So in my house as a child, early on, I have the distinct memory of listening to The Sound of Music, the original stage version with Mary Martin, and of course, Carol Channing, the original stage version of Hello, Dolly, and Robert Preston in The Music Man. And when you were sick at home and you couldn't go to school, my mother would put on those musicals. And we would listen to them on the stereo, needle drop record. And those were huge to me. But then there's two ways of meeting. Those are the ones that I encountered just as a listener. But to encounter it by doing it, the first thing I ever did like that was actually the operetta Hansel and Gretel by Engelbert Humperdinck, who everybody thinks Engelbert Humperdinck was a singer in the 60s, but he actually stole the name from a composer. I think it was written in the late 1890s or something. And I played the father in that, and I can still sing a few tunes from it, but not for you today.
Not today. Do you know what? I did Hansel and Gretel in school. It was like a school's version.
Yeah.
They were the original Humperdinck songs. I love that we have that in
common. And then the first musical that actually knocked me over that I met on film was the beautiful, beautiful original film, 1969 was it, version of Oliver. And then Oliver changed my life completely. I saw the world through the lens of that show for a very long time.
I love Oliver. I did that in school as well. And I was saying to another guest on the podcast, it's one of those shows, there is no song that you skip on the cast album. Every single song is what they say in the UK. I don't know if it would work in an American accent, but we would call it a banger. Yeah. Every song is a banger. And I just think that score, that timeless story is just so special. And it doesn't feel like it doesn't belong in Victorian London. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it was written in the 60s.
Yeah, I bizarrely became friends with Lionel Bart during the last probably 10 years of his life. And I would see him quite a bit. And I remember telling him about how much that meant to me to see the original film. And then I've done a stage production. I've been around it a lot. I played Charlie Bates in a production who only has one line, which is, "These sausages are moldy." And Fagin then shouts at him, "Shut up and drink your gin." And Lionel and I would act this out all the time. He would say, "Say it. Say it." Sometimes in the theater, I'd hear someone behind me say, "Say it." It was Lionel sitting behind me. He'd call on the phone and just do it. I think it's so timeless because of the way Lionel composed, because he didn't, play. So he would sing next to someone at the piano and they would. So the songs have a purity to them and they're not overcomplicated or showy. And I think that kind of stripped down quality of those songs lingers with us. And actually, almost anybody can sing those songs. So you carry them in your heart, not unlike our mutual friend Richard Sherman's songs, right? The Sherman Brothers wrote like Lionel. They're simple songs,
They're singable, aren't they? People will leave the building singing them, and that would be incredible.
So I didn't have one. I had a lot of things.
No, that's great.
I met so many all at the same time.
So when you met Oliver, were you that age? Were you an Oliver age?
Yes, yeah. And I wanted to be one of Fagin's boys.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in that movie. I wanted to be with those kids. And the dark side of it didn't scare me. I just wanted the companionship of that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, seeing it on stage was such a revelation.
Growing up in America, did you feel like that was a very British story? Did you feel like it spoke to you? What did it feel like, a different world?
It was so odd because people tell me today that Oliver is here what Annie is in America. And that's a kind of a commonly said thing, that Oliver doesn't really work in America. But I just love it. But I've never felt that divide.
Yeah.
I recognize, because I've spent so much of my life traveling, I sort of feel at home wherever I make a friend, and that show was my friend.
Oh, I love that. It goes for like boys and girls as well, I think. Oliver is to boys what Annie is to girls. I grew up wanting to be Annie. I just loved it. And it was full of girls and they were crazy and rebellious and a rabble.
I love a production. The more crazy the girls are in Hard Knock Life, I know I'm going to be happy if they're like really like messy little girls when no boys are judging them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So
we're back with Thrash and Treasure. I'm Aaron, and I'm magically gathering with Tim Chappel. Now, if performing arts had an Olympics for amateur artists, which events would you want to watch people compete at? And what discipline would you compete at to win gold? Would it be design or dancing for drag queens?
Oh, that's a really good question. God, you're coming up with some brilliant ones. Amateur event to witness, I would like to see chorus.
Yeah.
Everyone should be in the chorus at some point.
Yes, Patti LuPone.
Yeah. Oh, we don't talk about Lady P. We're all very sorry. We're very sorry.
Sorry, Patty. Please come on this show.
We love you, Patty.
I promise I won't ask about Audra or Kessia Lewis.
Well, she's just following a tradition anyway, like not Ellen, who did Ladies Who Lunch.
Elaine Streich.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she was opinionated.
She had strong views, yeah. Sorry, I got off track. What was the other thing? What would I win? And you know what? I've always thought I should have been a composer.
Yeah.
Because music and design are different sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you use all the same things. You use tempo and rhythm, and you use things that people recognize in different ways, and your phrasing and colors and palette, everything. It's the same thing. It's just a different medium.
Unless you're Beyonce, in which case patterns are what compose your music.
Yeah, there you go.
And Pharrell Williams, apparently, there's a term for it, and
it's called
aesthetic something.
Yeah, it's called
something. I'll ADR it. I'll get like Troy McClure's voice or something.
I used to have it as a teenager. I still kind of have it. Well, in my brain, all facts, numbers, dates, people, colors, shapes, everything are the same-ish with slightly different personalities. And so I can mix things together. I can come up with solutions that other people can't because I see things in a different way in my head. They're all very similar as opposed to being different. Does that make sense? What is that called? It's called synesthesia.
Synesthesia, yes, my friend has it with faces. Funnily enough, and I'm going to bring him up later. Hang on, no, that's synesthesia to music. No, my friend has it where he can't see faces.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. It doesn't recognize people.
So, he has trouble with that. He has trouble with seeing people and like recognizing them individually.
Is it people he knows closely or just associates?
People in general,
Right.
I think.
Would he recognize Beyonce?
If she's got her wind machine on, then yes. Anyways, now just on musicals, I want to throw a quick question in here that I haven't got written down. I have not an issue, I guess, an observation with musicals. I feel like once upon a time we had the iconic costume. We had the Annie's dress. We had Christine in her white dress, even then, with the black curly hair. That is an iconic image. You can tell. Eponine, you can tell her who she is. Rent, do you feel like we've gone away from that these days? Because we've got so many musicals that are based on movies, for one thing. So those costumes are already being developed. But what's your opinion on this?
I think the idea of casual dressing that came in at the end of the 90s and's kind of hung around permanently.
Yep, the street clothes.
Street clothes.
Yep.
And doing shows in street clothes has a lot to answer for because it's killed a lot of ideas of costume. And so often I get asked to do naturalism. And at that point, I just drop my pants and do a poo on the floor and leave.
Pixar, it doesn't happen. Now, look, I love Rent, right? Absolutely love Rent. But those characters, the Broadway designs we're talking about here, when you see them, you can tell they are from Rent, provided you know the show necessarily. Since then, none of those shows, none of these real world shows have, except Evan Hansen does with his striped shirt and the arm in the cask. That's it. I can't think of anything else that. See, Tracy Turnblad with Hairspray, that's from the 60s. So I wouldn't really call that streetwear because we're in a period.
Yeah.
We're in a time period.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's definite. People don't see costumes as much of as a
storytelling
or telling you about characters or important, moments. It's a shame. Naturalism, it should die.
I love Aaron, but as I say, like those, but you could tell with the Mark, with his scarf, Roger's got his tartan pants with the black shirt. Mimi's in she's in her sexy stripper outfit, really, and Maureen's in her cat suit. Like, you can tell those characters. I can't really tell any of the other ones.
Another possible reason, and I don't know this as a fact, but the structure of how people are paid these days who create musicals has changed quite dramatically since the 90s. So when you're doing a show and they're doing a reproduction, which means they're using your costume designs, you get paid royalty. But if they're not using your designs and they're still using the music and everything, it's not called a reproduction anymore, or it's called a semi, and you don't get any money for it. So I guess it's cheaper for people to just have the costumes reimagined. Actually, there is a musical that has very recognizable costumes.
Yeah.
And that's Hamilton.
But it's still a period.
But yes and no. What the costume designer did, which was very clever, is there's some strict period in it, but the general look is like a sort of cool Yeezy vibe out of creamy shirt and the knickerbockers.
Very New York.
Very New York, very understated, but a bit more casual than period.
Yeah. And Six the musical, again, the period costumes were still with an identifiable look to that show with those 6 wives of Henry VIII or Henry VIII.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'd be interested to look back at various productions and see if they've been reinterpreted in each production or if they literally are following a Bible.
Yeah. I have no idea, but have you ever seen a theater ghost? Ooh.
I felt one.
Yeah.
And I've experienced one when we were doing Priscilla in the West End. The Palace.
At the Palace, yeah. Awesome.
And Palace is famous for having like a bazillion ghosts. It's got 3 balcony levels, and the 3rd balcony is so raked that it's like over 60-degree angle.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which is amazing when you go up there. It's quite scary. I went up there a couple of times and I would feel, sense somebody around the corner on the other side. And it was always the same place on the left side. But that place is famous for its ghosts. I love the idea of the ghost light too. That's a nice concept.
Yep. The episode that posted a few days ago with Thomas Schumacher, the president of Disney Theatricals.
Wow, that's huge.
I know. When we recorded that episode, it was from the Theatre Royal at Drury Lane because Disney's Hercules opened a couple of days ago. So buy your tickets, kids. They haven't paid me to say that, but he literally came on one of my shows. So I feel compelled. And David Zippel is a 2-time guest, friend of this show. Love the man. So shout out to David and to Robert Horn as well. Anyways, I think the room that we were in, the Royal Room. So we sort of went into this recording knowing that this is possibly a haunted room. We got about 10, 15 minutes into the recording and their camera and microphone just went out. And so I sat here for 20 minutes. We've got the president of Disney, or the CCO now. He was the president, now the CCO, the producer of The Lion King, sitting there. And I'm like, do I interrupt? Do I jump in and say, hey guys, I've lost audio, I've lost video, I'm producing from Australia, can you fix this up? And I sat here for 20 minutes not knowing what to do. And I'm messaging Caroline's husband and I'm trying to find her friend that was there doing the tech stuff. And anyways, long story short, I ended up jumping in. And when I listened back to it, the point that I jumped in was right as he was saying something really funny. For crying out loud, he was saying a joke and I
got the end of it.
I interrupted it. So.
Oh, no, you interrupted the joke.
Yeah.
Mofo.
He was saying a joke about what would he play nothing well? And he was going on to say that being terrible at playing instruments.
So as a musician, he makes a great producer.
Yes. That it probably would have been the type of thing he would have said. And I've gone and interrupted it. But I'm pretty certain that was the whole point of that was the ghost goddess. The freaking ghost goddess that day, I swear to God. And I don't even believe in them. I don't even believe.
Yeah. Well, we all join back to the universal energy, and who knows what the shapes are.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on to the musical now because we're going to do La Cage aux Folles because I went through your entire biography and there was one musical that I don't know, and that was Aspects of Love. And to be honest, I wasn't really up for doing that one. So I thought La Cage aux Folles, that's a perfect one to do because I don't know it.
Aspects of Love's a tricky one because they're not very interesting or nice characters.
Okay, yeah.
And it's long.
Oh, that's fine. I don't mind an anti-hero or a shitty character every now and then.
But they're not even anti-heroes. They're just not very nice people who do rotten things to each other, and then it's over. We did a great show, though. It was an excellent show done with no money.
Yeah, was that at Hayes?
Yeah. Hayes, everybody, is a theatre in Sydney that has no wings.
Yes. Isn't it that this entrance is at the back of the stage?
Yeah, but there's no way you can put quick changes or
sets or anything.
Yeah, everything has to happen on stage, which makes it really interesting and makes you be very creative.
Yeah, a real challenge.
So yeah, La Cage aux Folles.
Yes.
Let's do it.
I've got my pros and cons, which I thought I'd just pick them out, but I obviously didn't. I picked it again because usually I would write a proper review.
Yeah.
But if I don't have it, where the fuck did I put them? That's King Diamond.
Come on, Aaron.
I'm so sorry.
Get it together.
This is not the first time. You should hear every episode. I'm like, what the fuck are my notes? And even just the last one with Steve Bastoni.
Edit it all out.
Yeah. Most often I do, unless I make a complete fool of myself, in which case everyone needs to hear that.
Well, I'm excited to see Billy Porter's all-black revival of La Cage aux Folles that's coming up at the City Centre.
Is it? Oh, wow. I didn't. Oh, actually, they just announced their thing. They're doing Bat Boy as well.
That's right.
I love that show. Hang on a second, has it fallen down here? No. I have no idea, but I'll cut a long story short and I'll edit it in. I know the Birdcage, so that was the pros. So that the story was easy, but the story was a little too easy.
Oh, yeah.
There was a pro that was Jerry Herman. Because I know the film, I know the Birdcage. I haven't seen the original French film. Like, I've seen the Birdcage 3 times, 25 years ago.
The thing about the Birdcage, which is so incredibly successful, it's called Robin Williams, is amazing.
Yeah, and he was a pro. I think he was the last pro on there. Robin Williams. Oh, that's how it was ended. I remember that. Oh my God. I'm so I have it somewhere. I'll edit it in and we'll make it sound like, yeah. So I gave that 3 stars because overall I was kind of underwhelmed. I think I prefer Jerry Herman's other efforts like Mac and Mabel a lot better. In this one, that end song just went on and it was just so repetitive and did my head in every time. The one familiar song, I Am What I Am, I've just heard it that many times at every Pride event. Every Pride event, every gay choir.
Oh, yeah.
So I was a little bit underwhelmed, and I didn't really enjoy it as much as I enjoyed King Diamond, which drove me nuts.
Oh, that's crazy. But it makes sense, though.
But it was a more interesting listen. There was
Yeah.
a lot more to sink my teeth into. There was a lot more ups and downs. This was very standard Jerry Herman.
Yeah. And there's a lot of kind of filler songs. My partner can't stand musicals because he's been exposed to so many. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just that if you've only got one song in a musical that's memorable, the rest of it is really just filler.
That's it. Like, I haven't seen The Birdcage in maybe 25 years, but all those jokes, like the dishes and the leapfrog, and I can't remember the character's name, but Hank Azaria's character, like trying on the shoes and like running and falling over, that sort of thing.
Mm.
Like, all that I remember. It was such an iconic movie when it came out. I think it was 95. So I think because I knew that film so well and remembered it so well, there was no surprises here. Like Mac and Mabel, I didn't know the story, but I knew some of the songs. So when I listened to that, I thoroughly enjoyed that album.
What's the most memorable song out of Mac and Mabel?
In terms of memorable, would be Wherever He Ain't, would be the most
Right.
sort of sung one. Wherever he ain't, wherever he ain't. I don't know. I can't sing. And it's a very big song to sing. But I love like Look What Happened to Mabel.
Oh, yeah. I know
Hundreds of Girls as well, with like the whole Bathing Beauties number. That to me had, I guess, a more interesting story that I didn't know. So when I did that album on this show, there was a lot more to sink my teeth into. This one, I was hoping there would be some surprises. The biggest surprise to me was how much Kelsey Grammer really does sound like Sideshow Bob, which was both a pro and a con, because for one thing, he's great, he's iconic, but he is Sideshow Bob.
I had no idea.
So it was like Sideshow Bob singing
Yeah.
the HMS Pinafore in his costume here. So that's what I couldn't get out of my head.
Oh my God, I love that. Now I can totally fit the face, the voice, and Kelsey Grammer together. I worked with Kelsey Grammer. I styled him in my year of not working in LA. He was nice.
Yeah. I know he said, oh, here we go. That's right. Found it. But I think I've pretty much gone through everything. Yeah, pro, Sideshow Bob does the birdcage. Con, Sideshow Bob does the birdcage. But the story and the vibe and like the branding is sold through the music, which is something I'm big on here. If you're doing a show set in the Wild West, you probably want to sound like the Wild West, unless you're doing like a concept, like a rock opera in the Wild West. Okay, granted, but you still want to have a country western vibe in that music. So many musicals are branded to the composer. This was very much branded to the composer as well, but still worked with this setting as well. Though I think if it was done today, it would be all electric dance music like we hear at the gay clubs, and I don't think it would be as good, or in terms of the vibe.
I just find that people are so scared of not scaring an audience, but not attracting the biggest possible audience.
Well, yeah.
That they don't take creative risks and they just do the most middle of the road, inoffensive version of everything.
And that's what this was, very much so. But I don't think like to do like Kinky Boots works with that music because of that story and the story that's telling here. But
also Cyndi Lauper.
And also Cyndi Lauper. But this one, you've got two stories going on. You've got the conservative side and you've got the drag queens and that family side. So I think not doing it in a dance style would be better. Even if it was like a 90s or an 80s pop, maybe better.
That's cute. The French one was made in the 70s, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Well, it's based on the 1973 French play.
73, right.
Yeah.
So the birth of disco, that would be such a good thing to do it as a period piece.
Yeah, with more of a rhythm, not that dunce, dunce, dunce beat that we would hear these days. I don't think would work. As I said, look, it would work for other shows. It works for Kinky Boots. Priscilla obviously has a lot of disco and dance music in it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen it, and I know it's changed music along the way.
Yeah, well, they tried to adapt it to wherever the location was.
Completely forgot that Kylie is queen around the world.
They didn't know her in the US, though.
Well, now they do.
Now they do.
Now they do.
Good on her. 56 years old and the biggest hit she's ever had. Good on her.
Yeah.
She's Kylie.
Yeah, I still haven't really properly heard it apart from on Drag Race where they did the lip sync for their life to it. Yeah, so I'd be interested to see Billy Porter in it, or at least to hear him in it, but I don't know.
They could bring something new to it. I think that's the beauty of doing musicals that for no money, is that there's no risk. No one's expecting too much. So I work with the director, Dean, who did Sweet Charity.
Yeah, Dean Bryant. Yep.
Yeah, Dean Bryant is brilliant, and also very inventive. And he just takes whatever he's got and he whips it into this magical thing. And it's so fresh. when we did Sweet Charity at the Hayes, which was the opening show, they just redid so many of the songs in different styles that it just was really brilliant and very clever.
Yeah, so that's what I want to do.
Direct.
I've got that many fucking ideas. I'm so desperate to at least just if I do them at the local theatre company or whatnot.
You know, the one thing you do have to do, though, you actually have to do it.
Yeah, detail it all out.
Mm.
Anyways, this is not about me. This is about you. I'm gonna have to cut all that out.
No, it's a conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, but I have to cut that out so
Right.
no one steals my ideas.
People steal your ideas all the time, but you know what the thing is that you're never ever going to run out of them.
Yeah, I know.
Other people steal my ideas constantly. It's been my whole life.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Or the other thing is zeitgeist. Is when you have an idea and you push forward. I wrote a children's show that it was live action, kind of like HR Puff and stuff.
Okay, yeah, oh fun.
But set in a fish tank, and they were like fish tank ornaments, and and they were all trying to get out of this fish tank, and they never could. And then I sold it to Nickelodeon and Channel 10, and then Finding Nemo came out,
Oh, you're kidding me?
which is literally the same storyline.
Yeah. Godfathers. I'm actually going to go see the new Pixar film tomorrow.
Which one?
Elio.
Oh yeah.
It's about a space cadet, basically. That's me. I feel very sad. As you can tell, I am a Disney fan.
Yeah, who doesn't love Disney? Disney's so interesting because I don't think the conception, the original Disney turned into something much more fabulous than I think anyone ever considered, the way they work creatively. Anyone I know who's ever worked with Disney have gone, they're so big on nurturing and sounds cool.
Yeah. Well, Caroline was their Mary Poppins for 2 years.
No way.
Well, UK and USA. But anyways, that's not about Disney. It appears Lacage has folded, so we're going to tear the house down boots and build an ad break.
Another podcast on the Bloop Network is Around the World in 80 Plays with West End theatre stars Lizzie B and Alfie Parker. We join them on the road as they tour the country with Dolly the dog, performing in shows and exploring the local arts and culture, and of course the theatres on the way. And here is a sneak peek.
Bonjour! It's time to go around the world in 80 plays. I'm Lizzie B.
And I'm Alfie Parker.
And we're joined, as always, by our doggy diva, co-host, travel buddy, and fur baby, Dolly! So, what did Dolly do? This week, there is no What Did Dolly Do section, is there, Alfie, which is normally your segment.
It is normally my segment, but it's not there.
But it's for an exciting reason, because this week we have picked up a hitchhiker. She is a bright light of the West End stage who has been seen in The Beautiful Game, one of our favourite musicals ever, Young Frankenstein, which also we both loved, Only Fools and Horses,
Which is an absolute bucket list show of mine.
Wicked. I've never heard of that one. Have you heard of Wicked?
Is that new?
I don't know. Must be new writing. 39 Steps, Taboo, and more, including her recent stint as the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz at the London Palladium. Have you heard of The Wizard of Oz?
Is that also new?
I don't. But today, she's conjuring up some wickedly funny little stories from her adventures in the national tours of Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Beauty and the Beast, and she was also perfect in Cats. I wish I could roll my R's. That would have been way better, wouldn't it? That was very disappointing. Perfect. That was much more. It's sort of Halloween-y, so it's fine. Anyway, luckily, tonight's the night we get a masterclass from this Cinderella because, mamma mia, it's Diane Pilkington. Hello, Diane. How are you?
I'm good. That was fantastic. Amazing.
I feel like some of the delivery was definitely questionable, but I gave it my all. I did it with gumption, which is all we can ask.
It was perfect. Perfect.
See, you can do it. Neither of us can roll our R's. Perfect. So, Diane.
Yes.
What has life been like since you returned from Oz?
It has been life. I mean, to be honest, it was a pretty big, should I say whirlwind? Is that cheesy? It was. I mean, it was crazy, crazy, crazy schedule, amazing people, amazing job. I absolutely loved it. But I was so broken by the end of it, like more broken than having been on tour. I can't even explain why. I was on stage for about 17 minutes, but I think being evil is really, really hard work. So I've just been, well, not just been, I have been being a mummy, and my little boy's just gone into year 6. He's really, I think kids really need support this year. So I've been doing that. And going seeing shows.
Been all the things we can never do when we're working.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. And I've been relying on the good grace of friends and ex-colleagues for getting me in to see shows, because obviously the other thing we can't do when we're not working is afford to do shows as well. So it's a toss-up, isn't it? You can either afford to go but you've got no time, or you've got loads of time but you're like, really, can I afford 150 quid to go and see that?
Have you seen anything amazing recently?
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I went to see The Little Big Things. That was amazing. I went to see Diversity last night. I went to watch the lovely Ashley Banjo in Diversity at Aylesbury. And oh my God, that was brilliant. It was brilliant. And tonight we're going to go and watch Shersey in Sunset Boulevard. Come on.
This is what I'm so excited for. I have a ticket for a couple of weeks' time. I'm literally so excited.
Me too. I actually I texted Caroline Sheen this morning going, the day is here. So we're looking forward to that one. Bit of a date night.
Oh, and she did a really amazing interview, I think, on the One Show last night, where she was talking about being in theatre and how she's got a newfound respect for it and how hard it is and the amount of work, and she feels like she's like an athlete. So I think that's really good for people to hear someone like her kind of talking about it and being really honest about the amount of work that goes into it.
Absolutely, that's really great to hear, because it is, and I think we take it for granted that we do those 8 shows a week, and you bust a gut and your voice holds out, and you train and train and train and all that kind of thing until it all goes wrong and you get an injury or so, and then you suddenly realize how hard it actually is. Because what I find, and I'm getting on a bit now, so I'm a bit older than I used to be, things don't heal quite as quickly, and what I find now is that if my knee goes, then you can guarantee it won't just be the knee. I'll work on that, and then the hip flexor will go because I'm trying to do something, and it's just really punishing, isn't it? Especially doing what you guys are doing at the moment, touring. It is hard work, but brilliant. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. There's a great payoff, but it's nothing to be sneezed at.
We're back with Thrash and Treasure. I'm Aaron, and being dragged through the torture chamber today is the extra fabulous Tim Chappel. Now, you do lots of things incredibly well. You've even directed music videos along the way.
Oh, that's true. I did, yeah.
You have dressed Queen Cher.
Mm.
Godfathers. Oh my God. Now, what's one normal, everyday thing that you're terrible at that everybody else can do perfectly well?
I know that's really gross, and I can tell you that.
Tell me. I want to know.
No, I forget to brush my teeth.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, but that's usually a sign of depression. If I haven't brushed my teeth that day, I go, AI says, you didn't brush your teeth today, Tim. Are you okay?
Eating is my big thing, and that's why I struggled to gain weight for that reason. And I know exactly what you mean by depression, because I look in the mirror before I sit down and talk to Oscar winners, Tony winners, people who wrote fucking Disney music, people who have inspired my career, me to write. I have to get over that ego.
Yeah.
Straight away. And I have to brush my teeth, obviously, but you know what I mean? Like, I have to get over that and sit here and, like I said before, not talk up to you guys or talk down, talk to.
Well, what I do, especially when I'm meeting them for the first time, if I'm working with a big star, is I disappear.
Yeah.
I disappear. I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just ultra present, and all my senses are concentrating on the person I'm working with and how I can best support them. You're thinking, oh, well, I'm not telling you, I should tell you how you think, but it seems like you're really engaged and your brain peppers the conversation with possibilities.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about being complicated and having weird brains that do a lot of things, is that sometimes it can make you really sad and things can be really yucky. But on the flip side of that, sometimes I think that we see brighter, sparklier, more beautiful things that other people can't see. It's the flip side to the same coin.
And also, it's liberating. in a lot of ways.
Well, you have no choice anyway, so you may
Exactly.
as well be this person.
It's sink or swim. And that includes losing my fucking notes every fucking episode that I record. But anyways, next question is
Capricorn.
I'm an Aries.
Ah.
Can you tell?
Oh, yeah. Apparently, we get along really well.
I do it. I don't know. It's again. It's like ghosts. I don't really sort of follow it. I follow the football more than I do anything.
Oh, how butch.
I know, right?
Aussie rules?
Yeah, Aussie rules. Go Bombers.
Hang on, Bombers. That's Essendon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a Westie.
Tell me about it. Anyway, so what to you is the sound of the quintessential Australian musical? Do we have that branding?
Well, we definitely have a tone, but we don't have a sound. We have a tone when it comes to the writing, whether it's a musical or a movie or a commercial. There is a very specific humor.
Yes, which we started off with.
Yeah, and New Zealand. New Zealand has it even more than we do. Well, it's interesting to see Americans try and emulate it or do a version of it, and they just don't really get how it works.
Yeah, because I've asked this a few times. That's a really great point in terms of that sense of humor that needs to be at least an anchor for us in finding the musical sound or that. Because if you were to line up all the Australian musicals in a row, it's not like Broadway. You can tell a Broadway musical. It's La Cage aux Folles. West End, you can pretty much tell a West End musical because it's a lot more sweeping. It's a lot more sort of grand and epic. But we don't really have one, I don't think.
No, I can't think of any sounds that we do specifically. I have noticed that what's that called when they go and record the musical? It's called something.
Are you thinking Sitzprobe?
Sitzprobe.
When they sit down with the orchestra and sing.
Yeah, Broadway. They are on Broadway. There's a real sort of slightly clashy Broadway chorus sound. We don't have that. We don't.
Yep.
British and our sound pretty much the same, but we don't really sing with an Australian accent either, which is odd, isn't it?
Oh, no, I don't know about that.
You reckon?
We've done quite a few Australian musicals, and Pippa Grandison and I talked about it, and I think Sharon Mellerchip as well, and a few other Aussie actors. We tend to turn the Aussie accent up because we have to sound like we're from Australia.
Yeah.
And it's so irritating. It really is so irritating because, like, we did Bad Boy Johnny and the Prophets of Doom last week with Steve Bastoni last episode, and I complimented that for the Aussie accents just being their normal accents, and it was fine. It was palatable. I loved the album. I gave it 5 stars. Whereas Muriel's Wedding, I had a big issue with the way we're from Sydney, mate, or we're from Porpoise Spit. Yeah, we gotta be a bogan as fucking can. Oh, it drives me nuts. It really just drives me nuts because I don't think it's a good sound. I think it's a caricature sound.
Which is funny because the movie of Priscilla, I think one of the reasons why it was so successful is they just happened to be Australian. It wasn't an Australian story.
Yeah.
And it could have been Amazon jungle or an outback or, beautiful glacier or something. It's just the contrast of drag queens in an amazing looking barren place.
It was a wild time to be alive. We had Muriel's Wedding and Priscilla bringing ABBA back into our lives.
Yeah, all in one. I would love somebody to do a thesis on why that year happened, or those 2 years, and Strictly Ballroom.
Well, yeah, that was in 93, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, in 94, I'm going to skip a couple of questions here while we're on this topic. In 94, the Power Rangers movie had a huge impact on the Sydney film industry, which if people have listened to my show, The Creationarium, they would know. The friend I mentioned before who can't see faces, he actually worked on the Power Rangers movie as an electrician. We did a podcast series together, a 4-part series about the making of that movie and how a bunch of Sydney tradies and electricians and set builders, costume makers, all that were basically thrown into the deep end to do this big budget American movie. What was that like for you, your experience doing that? Did you feel abandoned?
No, it was really interesting because they had unlimited resources except for time.
Mm-hmm.
They'd set me an impossible task, but it was great fun and working on the film on such a grand scale. Hey, do you know, speaking of something interesting, Cynthia out of Priscilla, Ping Pong.
Yep.
She was in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. She's the evil queen.
Yes, she is too. And I know her name.
Her name is...
Oh, I know her name. I love the Power Rangers movie.
Got a Latin name.
Dulcia is the character. Dulcia, and
she was the first person off Priscilla, the movie, to get another film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was the first one who started to get a career off the film. Power Rangers that was like 6 months later, I think.
Yeah, because it wasn't that long. In '94, it was being shot, and there's like this whole fascinating story about like the sets were melting and stuff, which I know happened to you guys on Priscilla when you got into the desert, and all the boxes of costumes melted into cubes, and the costumes into cubes, which is wonderful. Do you have photos of that? I feel so badly want to
No.
see photos.
It's taken me years of doing theatre, musicals in particular, to learn the value of making a costume that lasts and can be refitted.
Yes. Can you please tell that to the sock makers out in the fucking world? Because I can't have a pair that doesn't get holes in it within a week.
You must have very sharp toenails.
Oh, yeah, I can do sometimes, so I forget to clip them. Anyways, we'll go on about that. Where do you feel the most comfortable at home designing? Classy cocktail dresses or over-the-top drag outfits?
I just did The Inheritance at
Melbourne Theatre Company, was that?
No, that was here up in Sydney.
Okay.
It actually got all the Sydney Theatre Awards too. It was a really great show.
Oh, that's right. Simon Burke was in it. Sorry.
Yeah, Simon Burke.
Oh, my godfathers. Two-time guest Simon Burke.
My approach to it was it needed a certain amount of being conceptual because there's a kind of a Greek chorus.
Okay, yeah.
And then we have our main characters, of which there are only really 4. But at the same time, if you notice the costumes ever, I wasn't doing my job. And that's the very first time I've ever done that, had to do that, design that way. And it was really difficult.
Yeah.
Really difficult and a really great process to try and use my design skills with color and shape and contrast and making an interesting image on stage with everyone together and a bit conceptual so you can tell who's the Greek chorus and who are the main characters. But at the same time, making it all disappear was hard. So yeah, big and sparkly. I can do that with my hands tied behind someone else's back.
Yeah, so you prefer to do that?
No, I don't prefer anything. I'll do whatever. Or like everyone else, I'll do it. Chuck me a few bob and a premise. I'll come back with the costume.
Yeah. Would you compete on Drag Race?
I've been asked to judge.
Oh, and you said no. Or you just went available?
Yeah, I wasn't in LA.
Oh, bugger.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Producers. Goodness gracious, man. RuPaul, hurry up. Michelle Visage said yes to us
Oh, good.
4 years ago. Not going to happen. Anyways.
On which show, though?
On this one.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This one. Yeah, because the other one's only new. It only started in April.
They did a heavy metal thing recently.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It was good, too.
I'm like,
You should get Randy on.
I've invited him, but they ignored me.
He's really clever and very funny.
I'd love to get him on. Both of them. Anyways, what's been the heaviest outfit you've created and who wore it?
Oh, wow. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I did Penn and Teller for the Masked Singer, and they wanted them to be in one costume, and I did a Hydra, and it was one of the first ones I made over there, and it was 370 tall, 3 meters 70 high.
Wow.
It had the 2 moving heads and it had 3 legs. And it was made analog style before I designed things digitally to make them light.
Mhm.
So it was all made out of the thickest foam and it probably weighed maybe 110 kilos.
Oh, well, that's more than me. I was expecting you to say pounds. That's where the words came out of my mouth before I realized you said kilograms. That's literally nearly 3 times more than me.
No, 2. You would be about 50 kilos.
I'm 45, 46.
No way.
I know.
Oh my God, I'm 100 kilos.
I thought I would love to look normal. I really would. I hate it when like chubby, bearish guys lose weight. And I'm like, no, don't lose weight. I'm like, I'm such a for saying that. I really am.
Well, I actually think that's a nice thing to say.
I think so too, but apparently you're not allowed to, even if you're saying you look great.
Well, yeah. So telling people they look great is...
Like, great as you are, I mean.
Yeah. I guess you could just act it and not use words. Sometimes words get in
Oh, yeah, then they'll be like, who's this creepy guy hanging around?
it.
Watching me on the bus like I was yesterday. The guy who got on, he was really cute. And then he smiled at me when we got off. Unfortunately, not that kind of get off. Anyways, what's the worst injury you've had while sewing?
God, I've had so many. I put a needle through my fingernail and the tip
Ouch.
of the bone. And...
Yeah, so this is why I won't. This is why I won't do it.
It's an industrial machine, though, and I was having a fight with it already. And
And you lost. And you lost, is what you're saying.
yeah, it was a walking foot. I know better. A walking foot machine that's for sewing leather and it pulls things forward and it's got a big nail.
Oh.
It basically hammers it through.
Oh.
But I was lucky because it went through, and because it was a leather needle, it went through my nail, through the bone, and then back out again. Because quite often they'll just snap off. That's unpleasant.
Ouch. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, no, I don't know why I asked that one.
One of my makers in the last season of Dancing with the Stars swallowed a needle.
Oh no, that was an episode of Blue Healers
Oh, was it?
years ago. Oh my god, they filmed it at Werribee Hospital.
What happened in the end?
I can't remember.
Was she able to thread the needle?
No.
She swallowed some cotton.
Yeah, that's such a random memory. Goodness gracious me.
I taught Kate Winslet how to thread a needle.
Oh, did you?
Sew on a button.
Was that on, what was it? The Dressmaker?
Dressmaker.
I left that off your thing. How did I leave the Dressmaker?
I was associate designer on that. I got fired.
You got fired. Why'd you get fired? Are you allowed to tell?
Oh, yeah, no, I had to fight. My ideas were better.
Anyways, next question. What's one long-running musical you would love to redesign?
I would love to do a version of Julie Taymor stuff for Lion King.
Yeah.
But imagine if you did it like
Oh, if you say why I
No, just found if the costumes were all made from found objects or recycled and
that'd be great. But really cleverly done, not totally craftily done. Like, yeah. So I thought you were gonna say that
one of yours.
Listeners, I was sharing an idea that I had for an update of The Lion King before. And as soon as you said The Lion King, my heart sunk. I'm like, no, you're not gonna spoil my idea, are you? But it's all right. No, that's a great idea because that would work. There's like think about like hoses, old hoses. You could have like lots of them as like a mane and stuff like that. Like,
or you could get period ones and pretend that it's set in a.
No. We're not gonna go there.
Sorry, everybody.
It's like Lego, using what you've got of Lego and creating amazing things.
Well, look, one of the things that because I teach as well.
Yes.
Young people, of which you're a young person, but younger than you, like student
40 now.
Are you 40?
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan.
I know I look young. Thank you.
You do. It's more your outlook. It's more your joie de vivre. But I'm often asked now when I'm lecturing about entertainment and the environment and the huge amount of waste that TV, films, musicals all create. Huge amounts of waste. Huge. It's ridiculous. So doing a musical where everything's recycled would be challenging.
And something about animals would work.
Yeah.
An environmental message. So that's great. Now, which golden age movie star would you time travel to dress and be their personal stylist for?
Oh, that's so easy.
Yeah.
Marlene Dietrich.
Oh, and she's very bisexual as well. So you get best of both worlds there.
Oh, how funny. That's not why I picture her. I picture her because she was the master. She was really properly glamorous because glamour, if you actually look up the etymology of it, isn't what you think. It's about mastering false things to make you look better. I mean, it's pretty but fake, basically. She used to wear a gold chain under her chin to stop her from getting saggy chin. Tiny gold chain.
You listening, RuPaul?
You're going to have to cut that out. She'll come for you. No, she'll have her people come for you.
She's the first to claim how many tapes and pulleys and strings she has got pulling her face back when she's in drag.
Have you done drag, Aaron?
When I was younger, there's photos of me in drag. Actually, one of the episode, my 40th birthday episode, I got roasted. So the episode is of me in a dress and makeup when I was like 5. And I also did it in school when I was 7. And I did Frankenfurter once.
There you go.
But no, I'd get me drunk. There are videos. There are plenty of videos. Get me drunk and put on that first song from Priscilla. I've been to Paradise, but I've never been to me.
Such a good song.
And I will find any dress or any sort of material or towel, and then I'll perform that one song, and then it's over with, and I'm gone because that's what I do.
Do you know all the words?
Yes, I do. And no, I'm not going to sing them for you.
Come on.
I mean, Gay Man, of course I know all the words to that song. We all know the words to that song. It's one of our anthems.
She made no money off that song.
Oh, really?
She had it all stolen.
Charlene.
And I Love the Nightlife. What was her name?
Alicia Bridges.
She also never made any money off that song.
Oh, wow.
I feel so blessed because I've really been looked after by my various producers. It's important to have passive income as you hover towards 60. I'll be retirement age soon.
Artists don't retire.
Well, the great thing is that when I have a Tony, don't you?
Yes. And a BAFTA, AFI.
When I went to the Tonys, the other people in the category, the other designers, William Ivy Long, very clever designer. I learned a lot from going through some of his stuff. Also, he knows all the tricks, all the theatrical tricks. A lot of them are so obvious. You go, oh, of course. Why would you spend all this money on expensive fabric when you just chop up a bit of lace and stick it on? He does all these cool things, yeah. I've learned a lot. Also, I learned that gold and silver look better together than apart. Did you know that?
Yeah, my mum taught me that.
Oh, really?
I believe,
Oh,
yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah, because they do. When people think, oh, I've got to have all gold jewelry or I wear all silver jewelry, it's like, no, no, no. And especially on stage because the colors back each other up.
Yeah, and especially at the bus stop as well. Now, are you keeping up with All Stars 10? And who will win? And why is it Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia, even though she didn't qualify for the semifinal? Yeah.
Oh, God, I can't. Don't know, but I really like the really pretty trans. Is her name?
Are we allowed to say that?
Well, that's what they are. It's like, I am a gay. I am a gay. When I was in high school, people would say, oh, you fucking poofter?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, and?
And then I get a book in the face, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I've always been kind of bigger, so
Yeah, no, I haven't. I've always been a shrimp.
I'm sure you're not a shrimp everywhere, though, Aaron.
That's all we have time for. Let's do. No, I'm kidding.
What other seafood items? Sea slug?
Flake.
Flake.
Flake. A total flake.
Dim sum.
Would you classify that as seafood? I guess you get it from the fish and chip shop, don't you?
Sure.
Yes, okay. It's Bosco or Kerry Colby?
Is it Kerry? Yeah. She's so beautiful. I mean, I know that she's had work, but it sits on her that body and that face, and also her styling is so good. I actually like her day looked better than her costumes. Her day she rocks on up, and I'm like, Vivienne Westwood would roll on her grave if she saw how good you look in that.
Yeah, that's what I love about it is Rue's suits. Like when he comes in the workroom and he's in these Epstein, Klein and Parker suits, and they're like literally like this, they're like pink and blue tartan and stuff like that, and I'm like,
yeah,
I need that.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them, not all of them.
Can you imagine? Jesus, he's creating how many of these shows at the moment? There must be 8 going on. How you constantly come up with a new look. I remember Usher had that problem with Usher just hosting Masked Singer. It's like, how do you get another look the same but different?
Yep, and he's been doing that sort of show for a long time too. So, last question, and don't yell at me. I have to ask: is your Oscar there? Can I see it? Oh my God, you have an actual Oscar!
It's in the kitchen.
Oh, is it? Oh wow.
I'm upstairs.
Oh bugger, that's all right.
You know what? I'm going to walk you down.
Oh, right? Oh wow. Like we've been watching that my whole life.
The Oscars.
Yeah, been so inspired, and always wanted to be nominated for one. That's so stupid.
Really?
Yeah, even if I don't win, I want to write. So
is that why you're doing it? No.
No.
You have no choice.
Yeah.
If you don't create, you're going to just explode.
I know. I can't sleep unless I'm writing something.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Like, that's why there's notebooks, right? Because I'm on my bed, like filled with work. I wrote 18 pages of a novel.
Oh, it's backwards, isn't it? Is it backwards for you?
Shit take happens.
I've got another one that's got a picture of a fox and it says, for fox's sake.
Mine are all Glee. These are all Glee notebooks.
Hilarious. I bet your pages and pages look like mine too.
Yeah.
Out of here into there, otherwise you can't sleep.
That's it. So... yes, no. I won't make you go downstairs.
No, but I can actually show. I've got everything on the top of the shelf in my dressing room, except for the Oscar.
Oh my God.
Let's go on our tour.
Oh my God, they're like right there. Oh my God.
I set mine up in the Oscar up as a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
Look.
Oh wow.
What have we got up there? There is Tony.
Yeah. Oh wow, the Tony Award. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Olivier.
Wow.
Critics.
Yep.
BAFTA.
Wow.
Look, I will take. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thank you, sir. That's so dorky, and it really is. Oh wow, and it's all lit up.
There it is.
See, that's what I want to see. I want people to actually make a thing of it and have lights underneath it.
But let's see if I can make it do it.
Is it gonna go pink? Yes. It's gonna turn colors. Yay! That is so camp. I love that. Oh my God. So we've come close. We've had Oscar nominees like David Zippel, Chris Sarandon, David Newman, Glenn Slater.
There you go. I can't make it do it. The late night function is quite camp.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. That's it. Anyways, I think we're going over. We have got 9 minutes over. Thank you so much, Tim. It's truly such an honor.
Thank you. It was fun, Aaron.
Good. Awesome. I just got a review from my friend for the Steve Bastoni one, and he goes, he sounded very bemused. Like, that's not what I want to hear going into another recording. Thank you very much.
Who was bemused?
Steve.
Bemused. No, bemused is a terrible choice of word.
I know.
Tell your friend, stop being so passive aggressive and say something nice.
Yes, are you listening, Drew?
Yeah, Drew. You deliberately set that.
You sabotaged me. Well, sabotage, isn't that a term in sewing?
No.
I don't know. I looked it up. I looked up a whole glossary of sewing terms.
Oh, there's so many good ones.
Well, I could fit as many as I could in the introduction.
Oh my God, that introduction. I'm shaking at the brilliance of it.
As I was saying last week, I got to humiliate myself so that you guys can relax, basically. So I'll celebrate your career and do it in my way, my
I
voice.
really like the way you structure sentences is really interesting, and the timing.
Yeah. Well, that was a cold read too. That was literally a cold read. I hadn't read through it at all because I just finished writing the last jokes. I left off the Masked Singer. Don't ask me how I left off the Masked Singer. So I had to like shoehorn it in there at the last minute. So that's it. But I'll edit it so it sounds even more rhythmic. But anyways, where can people find you on the social medias?
Well, I'm XTC Costume on Insta, and I'm just me on Facebook. Or if you want to get in contact with me, you can go to www.timchappel.com. Spell my last name right, or you won't get there.
That's it. I was going to ask you if it's Chappell or Chappelle or Chappelle, but I'd heard everyone else saying Chappell.
Want a little anecdote about that?
Yes, always.
So when I was winning my Oscar, Sharon Stone said,
Yes.
and the Oscar goes to Tim Chappel and Lizzie Gardner. And I pronounce it Chappell. It is Chappell. It's got two P. And in LA, people go, "Oh, Tim Chappell," and they go, "No, it's Chappell," unless I didn't like them, and then I wouldn't correct them. So people would go out and they'd meet other people, and they go, "Oh, I know Tim Chappell. He's a really good friend of mine." They go, "Mm-hmm."
I'm going to keep that in mind now because people do actually look at who I've had on the show before they say yes to coming on. So if someone comes on and says, "Yeah, I saw you had Tim Chappell on," I'm going to know straight away.
Friend or foe.
Friend or foe, that's it. But anyway, so you got any projects coming up that you need to plug?
Priscilla, the sequel, is what I'm working on right now.
What?
Yeah, P2. I'll give you the one-liner from P2 is, "Even old showgirls deserve a happy ending."
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it's super important because it's about aging and being gay.
Yeah.
And balls and so many interesting things about it.
What are you allowed to tell us about it? Because I'm sure you've signed a contract.
Yeah, it's not a secret, but there's not really, what can I say? It's still transport based.
Yeah.
It's a Priscilla.
Okay. Yeah, because she's like in a yard somewhere in Adelaide.
Yeah. But we have a different form of transport in this one.
Oh, it's not an electric car, is it?
Well, I'm not even going to do poker face. I'm not telling you, because that's the fun part is when you actually get to Priscilla. It's a really great moment in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it references back a lot, which is really beautiful and does a lot of box ticking for everybody. It's really satisfying. Yeah, it's a satisfying story and tragic and hilarious and beautiful.
Oh, you say tragic, someone's going to die. Oh no, it's going to be Terrence Stamp, isn't it? It's going to be Bernadette. No, you can't kill off Bernadette. Oh, we're going to get sad.
Maybe somebody does. I'm not sure.
You can't do that to me.
Terrence isn't doing so well at the moment.
Oh, isn't? Oh.
Yeah. Well, he's like 85 or something.
Yeah, it's my dad's age.
Yeah, but I'm sure your dad's doing good. Oh no, he's not, is he?
No, not really.
Sorry, that was.
No, that's fine. I made a joke about West cigarettes not knowing.
Oh no. But anyway, Stefan got Terrence into makeup and wig in London and went and had him digitally captured from every angle, doing different dialogue from every angle, and he's given permission that if he does pass, he's still going to be in the film. They'll just pop him in later.
This is the thing with remakes, that a lot of these films are getting remade because the studios are thinking that the title itself is iconic. Yes, but the characters are iconic and who played them and how they played them is iconic. So that's why we had that with Ian Holm in the recent Alien film. He was digitally recreated for that. Yeah, that's why we want to see sequels, not reboots or remakes.
Unfortunately, it's not been the case with Priscilla. It's been a lot of people have come back and said it's not relevant for young people today. And we're like,
bullshit, it's not. Oh my God.
Bullshit. And it's important. First one was accidentally important. It was just fun. This one's important.
1992, I was dressing in dresses, playing witches and princesses and queens in class. Films like that and Muriel's Wedding as well. It wasn't a matter of being seen or anything like that, but they were so massively popular that it made you feel human. It made you feel welcome. It opened doors.
It gives you permission to be.
It gave us permission to be. That's it. And, you know, whilst it has been a rough road and we're where we are today, but we're also today with Drag Race at the top of the fucking pile.
And the amazing thing with Drag Race, which I really love, is that the looks and the people who do better on the show now like Sydney's drag scene was in the 90s.
Yep.
What we already knew and what Priscilla tapped into, they're finally getting over there. It's about being interesting and creating characters and telling stories, not just being a pretty girl.
Yeah, because that character of RuPaul isn't who RuPaul is out of drag. He's got a hoodie on and he doesn't want to know people when he's out of drag. You know, it's not who he is. But one thing I do think, and I'm going to leave us on this and I'll let you go, is I think every single runway, they need to credit who designed it and made it, like they do with the songs.
I think that's a really good idea, or at least put it in the credits. You know what it should be? A little part in the corner.
Yeah, when they come out, like they do the song, right before they do the lip sync song, it comes out
That's a great
with the song title and the publishing house and the songwriters. Why not do that? Do you know why they don't do that? Because they know that the Emmy Award won't go to Zoldy.
They didn't get it last time. They stole my fucking Emmy Award in the first season of Masked Singer, and they got it for one dress, and I done like all these. Whatever. I'm not bitter.
I'm happy for Drag Race to win all the Emmys and stuff like that, but no, that's one area I disagree with because it's only going to Zoldy's dresses. It's not going to the runways.
Oh, that's the only thing it's nominated for.
Yeah, because they think, oh, well, it's nominated for best costume. So I loved all these runway outfits. The category is for that one dress from that one episode that Zoldy created, and I don't think it's fair that only he gets that credit.
A show that's so important culturally, it should be recognized in different ways.
That's it. And number one should be those artists, even if it's the drag queen themselves that designed it and sewed it, like many of them do, then have designed and sewed by and have their real name. Like Madonna would have M. Ciccone written on her music credits or whatever it is. Like Beyonce would have Beyonce Knowles. She wouldn't have just Beyonce on there. It would have her real name, or whoever it has that has a stage name uses their real names on it. So anyway, sorry, I've talked your ear off. You also I didn't get to ask about Pamela Anderson. Oh my God. How did I forget?
God.
How did I forget? You did VIP. I'm so sorry, but I'll let you go. It kills me to say.
I'm cold down here. I haven't got the heater on.
Yeah, so I'll let you go.
Nice to talk to you, Aaron.
Yes, you too. So thank you so much.
Don't forget to always have aspirations.
Yes, no, definitely. Especially with the guests we've got coming up, like yourself. I've just had Steve Bastoni, just had the Umbilical Brothers as well.
Oh, they're cool.
Thomas Schumacher.
That's a good one. Have Caroline O'Connor's.
I've had Kaz on. She's right.
She's brilliant.
Where is she? She's here on my poster. When I printed off myself, if you could tell, like printed it off and stuck the pages together. It's so tacky.
Very crafternoon.
Oh, it's very tacky. I wasn't paying $80 for a fucking mega poster.
How much budget do you think I've got?
Exactly. We're on zero budget. Like we get asked, oh, are you able to pay like Tom Felton?
What?
Tom Felton, who needs work at the moment, so he's going back to Harry Potter. His agent asked us to pay him to interview him.
That's weird. That's not how it works.
I know.
Otherwise, I'd be a fucking millionaire.
I know. And I'm like, you're Tom fucking Felton, for crying out loud. Have you run out of money already? Godfathers. And now, of course, he has, because he's doing Harry Potter on stage and in the TV series. So his career, people are now hating him for that. So, because obviously.
Weird time for entertainment.
Yeah, it's a weird time to be a Harry Potter fan.
I bet.
So anyways, I'm going to let you go. Otherwise, I'll talk forever.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Like quicksand!